Look at that. Straight bar. Smoke something like this, let me know. Good shit. You motherfucking Medicaid. Look at that shit. Oh, it smells so good. That moist kush, fire. My utensils.